Let's review some things you already know before we learn our new letter for today. Our overcurve starts at the baseline, goes up and over the ellipse. That's our overcurve. Our slant always runs parallel. So an overcurve slant looks like that. And we do that for our overcurve, slant, overcurve, slant, undercurve, our N and our M and our H. So you already know overcurve and slant. And you already know a slant to an undercurve. Then, remember when we made our J? Undercurve, long slant, loop back, undercurve. So you remember how to make a J. And if you do this, it turns into a P. So you already know these things. Today we're putting all of these things that you already know to make the letter Y. You start at the bottom. You do an overcurve, slant, undercurve, long slant, loop back, undercurve, and that's your letter Y. Make 3 Ys. Now, what if you make your Y like this? Oh, it wouldn't be the end of the world. But this gets easily misread because Y's are so usually like this, and I's are so much more popular than Y's, that our brain will say, oh, that's an I, and then they'll go, oh wait, maybe it was a Y. So we want an overcurve, slant, undercurve, slant, loop back, undercurve. Does that make sense? Why you wouldn't necessarily practice to use that one? If it happens when you're writing quickly, then just leave it. Don't erase it. That'll be fine. But while you're practicing, try to train your brain that that is what a Y looks like. How about we connect it to some letters? Y-A. Your turn, write Y-A. Y-U. Overturn, curve, slant, undercurve, long slant, loop back, undercurve, slant, undercurve, slant, undercurve. What if we're connecting the Y after a letter? N, overcurve, slant, overcurve, slant, undercurve to an overcurve to a slant. How about an LY? We write that a lot. Can you do it? LY. What if we're connecting it to a check stroke, like a BY? Check stroke to an over curve to a slant, to an undercurve, to a long slant, loop back, undercurve. Okay. Do you think you want a second letter today? I bet you do, since it's only been 5 minutes. And the second letter will be an X. The X is one of the letters like the I, where we have to lift and go back, and the T, where we have to lift and go back, and the J, where we have to lift and go back. The X will have to lift and go back, but this time we do an overcurve, slant, undercurve, lift, slant. X's look weird. They're so hard to make beautiful, and that's because we want to remember our manuscript X, where it goes like this, but in cursive we don't get to have it like that because we're doing everything on a slant. And depending on where you learned to write, some people start at the bottom and slant up. Some people start at the top and slant down. You decide what works better for you, and then you can do it. XE. What the? Oh, I forgot to put my slant. XI. Overcurve, slant, undercurve, slant, undercurve, dot. IX. Whoa, look what I did. See how my slant is right here? And this slant, I did that. Those aren't perpendicular at all. Well, they are practically perpendicular. They're not parallel at all. So let's try it again for me. There, that looks better. And axe. I'm going to try that again just because I think I could do it better. So with your Y and your X, so let's write some words. How about yarn, overcurve, slant, undercurve, long slant, loop back, undercurve to a down curve, check. Yummy. How about baby? Because that will have us connecting from a check stroke to an undercurve, slant, long slant, loop back. Beauty. How about many? Or manly. How about we do that? Let's put some X's in words. There's not as many words with X's as there are with Y. And it's hard to think of an X word that starts with X. How about taxi? Remember, my slant wants to be parallel with all the other slants. And it will look weird at first, but as you practice it, that will be the way you see your X's. Axis. Tuxedo. Waxy. That gets a us. X and a Y. So remember all the way back to the beginning when we first started and we did an undercurve, slant, undercurve, slant, undercurve, slant, a line of these. Remember when we did that? And then when we did the M and the N, and I showed you the calligraphers do that a lot. Another thing you can do to get these overcurve slants into your hand would be to do an overcurve, slant, undercurve, to an overcurve, to a slant. And we call these compound curves. See how I'm straightening out and getting wider and wider? Maybe I have to do this so I can train my brain to see those letters. Okay, you have 2 more letters to learn tomorrow, and then the uppercase letters, and then we'll work on speeding up our handwriting. Happy handwriting.